I'm delighted to be joined by an HMO landlord here, Wendy Whittaker-Large, who is on the panellist of the HMO ethics panel. And Wendy is just talking to you before we started the interview. You've got such an amazing story of how you've built your portfolio of HMOs. Could you just talk us a little bit through it?
Well, I started my property journey by investing in a single let property. Well, that's what the estate agent told me it was. Actually, it was a student HMO, but this was way back in 1996, before even the banks had devised buy-to-let mortgages. So I bought this property, not really understanding what an HMO was, and boy oh boy, I've got stories I could tell you.
Steep learning curve, I imagine.
In fact, because I was really put off by that experience, what I ended up doing was investing in single lets. And really over the following 15 years, I bought a nice portfolio of single lets, and I even invested in a pub. But about 2.5 years ago, I read Robert Kiyosaki's book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and really that was the moment that changed my life. Because I began to realise I could get a lot more from my property portfolio by investing in HMOs. So I started with a small 4-bed HMO, and the rooms literally flew off the shelves.
What area was this?
This is in South Cheshire, so I invest in Crewe and Stoke-on-Trent. And I found that the rooms were incredibly popular, people desired them, and my challenge was to provide enough of them for the needs of the young professional population in our area. So I built a second HMO, a 7-bed HMO. Now, of course, when you go from a 4-bed to a 7-bed, you encounter a lot of other challenges, a lot of other issues, a lot of other learning points. So I began to realise I had to learn about building regs, I had to learn about planning permission, I had to learn about all the other aspects of an HMO, licensing and all the rules and regulations. But although I was very much green behind the gills and new to this area of investing, I was determined to learn about it. We talked earlier about our own backgrounds, and I've got 4 children.
I know, I think it's incredible what you've achieved and brought up a family.
Well, thank you. And I wanted something that would give me an income while fitting around my children. Because I knew that a normal job, a 9-to-5 job, was not going to give me the satisfaction of building something that I could leave to my children, a legacy, but also it wasn't going to give me the flexibility that I needed as a mum. And I saw property as a route out of my job and a way to create both the income, the time, and the quality of life. And actually, as I've gone on, I've realised that although it's great to have a legacy for your children, it's even better to have a lifestyle.
Yes.
And so I've kind of moved in my thinking from being a legacy investor to being a lifestyle investor. And that's why I do HMOs.
Yep. Brilliant. That's such an inspiring story, and I think you're very passionate about more women getting involved in property and not being afraid to join the community, because there are a lot of women out there. Perhaps they're not as high profile as some of the men, but women have a lot to bring to the property world, don't they?
Absolutely. You know, you've heard the phrase, behind every successful man there's a woman, there's a good woman. Well, I think, why don't some of those good women come to the fore? Why don't we start seeing their faces, like yours, like many other women we know who do have a profile in property, because they are our role models, they're our inspiration. They're the ones who can show us that actually you don't have to be a man to be successful in property. And so I'm really keen to see more faces of women who have juggled family, caring responsibilities, and maybe other responsibilities. They've got domestic responsibilities, and show that this is an opportunity for all. It should be equal opportunities in property. And I really want to help women who may feel they've got no support, no confidence, no time, no money, or no skills. Those seem to be the 5 areas that most women complain about when I speak to them. Oh, I can't get involved in property because I don't know how to do it. But I think that actually if you meet the right people, if you connect in the right way to the right people, you can overcome all of those barriers. And I think as women, we've got some particular skills that we can bring.
Definitely.
We're often great communicators. We love building positive relationships. We're often able to see when conflict might be about to arise and appease that situation. And I think there are other skills that we have as well in terms of being able to see the bigger picture, and also we're good at juggling. We're good at being able to multitask. And I think in property you really need to be able to be good at that.
You do. Well, I think you've raised some really fantastic points in this interview, and I really love your enthusiasm, and I feel such positive energy from you. It's been a real pleasure to meet you, and I hope that perhaps on this discussion on property tribes we can encourage more women to come forward, share their concerns, share their challenges, and perhaps you would join me in kind of helping them find some answers and really encourage some women power on property tribes.
I'd be delighted to, Vanessa.
Oh, it's been lovely talking to you. Thank you, Wendy. Thank you.